do everything by myself. I thought I'm strong enough. I thought I can conquer the world just by my own will. And then from one day to the other, it just seems like not anymore.
How it all began. I've always been a healthy person before. I exercise regularly. Never went to the doctor. Practiced yoga, as well as the Wim Hof method and other breathing exercises, which helped me to endure ice baths and daily cold showers.
How are you feeling? Feeling good! Feeling strong!
I was rarely sick or had a cold throughout the seasons. And about 1.5 years ago, I started to have suddenly some weird dizziness, which I didn't understand at first, and thought that it might have been due to some personal struggles I went through in my life at that time. Not thinking much of it, within 1 week my condition got very bad. Up until the point where my heart almost stopped. And the only reason that I got admitted to a hospital was because an accident happened about 50 meters away from me. I had a very strong episode of vertigo, was sitting next to a tree, and this woman named Ann probably saved my life by insisting to call one of the paramedics on site to have a look at me. First I was saying, no, it's all fine, I'm good. They have their own problems and I don't want to bother them with my problems. But she was like, no, how about I go there and ask one of the doctors to come over to you and check you. So after some time I was like, alright, fine, it cannot hurt, right? And after a quick check, they saw that my heart was beating arithmetically. So I needed to get to the hospital ASAP. And with sirens, I got admitted to the emergency room. Within 48 hours, I had to make the biggest decision in my life to implant a pacemaker. Because during surveillance, they saw that at certain times during the day, my heart rate went dangerously low down to 15 beats per minute. And then jumped back up again. As if nothing happened, just a normal heartbeat. Something none of the doctors had seen ever before. So, going through with the operation seemed like the only reasonable option at that time to wake up in the next morning again. Up until today, it's still unclear whether it is because of the COVID-19 vaccine or any other weird, unexplainable reasons. Fact is, nobody knows. From all the specialists and doctors I've seen so far, only one doctor made the diagnosis that it might be because of the vaccine. The rest of them simply ignored the fact that the heart of a 30-year-old man who never had any health problems before almost stopped, and were fully focusing on how to treat my symptoms, instead of trying to understand what is actually happening. So, after many checks and a medical marathon, I came to the conclusion that I had probably an inflammation of one of my heart valves, which probably led to the blockage in the nervous system within the heart, which I believe was just a natural response of the body to protect itself. But because we always need to function, always need to keep going in the West, it had to be this way. The pacemaker brought many other complications, which I am still battling with almost on a daily basis now. And about 4 months after the implantation, I got admitted a second time to the hospital, because my heart was racing at the speed of 205 BPM for almost 2 hours. In medical terms, they call it a ventricular tachycardia. When the ambulance arrived, they tried different medication to calm down my heart again, but none of them were working. They were already preparing a defibrillator to shock my heart, which would have caused a lot of complications because I actually have a pacemaker and I need it. But luckily one of the paramedics was a cardiologist, so he found the right medication to actually calm down my heart again. When I arrived at the hospital, they told me that if this will ever happen again and they don't arrive on time, that I might just simply die of a heart attack. In Germany, their only solution was another surgery, where they wanted to shrink certain nerve cells within the heart. But I rejected it and discharged myself from the hospital against medical advice. Because at that point I had absolutely no trust in medicine anymore. Nobody was really seeing me. Nobody was trying to find the reason what was actually happening. They just wanted to have a quick fix, and I didn't want any more operations on my heart. My heart was fine before. I cannot believe that from one day to the other, everything is wrong within me. So I went on the quest of trying to find what is really happening to my heart and where is everything coming from. I saw no point in holding onto the blaming mentality that it's the fault of the vaccine or any doctor who didn't diagnose me properly before the actual implantation of the pacemaker. I thought the universe presented me with a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to reconnect with my heart again, with my body and my soul, something that is almost lost in our Western society, which is merely based on rational thought. The West looks at the body as a machine which needs to function to produce economic growth, to keep up this capitalistic ideal. And don't get me wrong, we made a lot of beautiful progress. But now it's time for a global paradigm shift, where we give back the importance to emotions, intuition, and the guidance through love. I conducted a crowdfunding campaign and raised, with the help of 118 supporters who I am endlessly grateful for, about 5,000 euros, which enabled my first visit to India to look for alternative healing.
Goodbye, Berlin.
Going on that journey meant facing my biggest fears. I had absolutely no idea how my body would react to all the traveling ahead of me. Will my heart have any complications even getting onto the airplane due to the change of altitude? What if I will be trapped thousands of meters in the air in a metal container without the possibility of getting fresh air? I was very scared that I will have another tachycardia. How will my body react when I arrive in Delhi and I'm confronted with the heat, the stress, the insecurities? I was scared of other complications that might occur and that all my hope for recovery will be in vain. But since there was no option for me to find healing anywhere else, turning back wasn't an option either. So as they say in German, Augen zu und durch, which means as much as close your eyes and go through. Arriving in Delhi was very overwhelming. The traffic, the heat, the humidity, the dust, the dirt, and all other weird, beautiful impressions which my rational mind was struggling to comprehend. I was amazed that, despite all of this overcrowded, fast-paced traffic, the people seemed somehow very content. There was no aggression on the faces of the drivers. Everybody is just cutting each other in traffic, overtaking and pushing through narrow streets, playing this game which they all agreed on. It seemed like there are absolutely no rules on how to drive. Yet, somehow, everything seems to flow and organize itself. My body managed the heat very well, and despite feeling stressed by this new environment and the fast-paced city, I didn't have any physical complications. I felt excited for this new chapter in my life. My body released so many endorphins that for the next couple of days, I almost forgot that I even had any heart problems in the first place. In these first days, I met amazing people who were my introduction to a realization later to come. Pure love, in the moment, without any attachments. A beginning of a great adventure, filled with spiritual wisdom and teachings, which I could have never expected, but have always dreamed of. Difficult journeys with physical exhaustion proved to me once and for all that my body is stronger than I thought.
You only have to fast enough, that's when you get through.
My heart might show the symptoms, but the root cause is fundamentally different. It goes as deep as on the soul level, and my whole being was exhausted from the life I was living before. My prana, which is another word for life force, was on rock bottom, And when my heart wasn't able to keep up anymore, the heart valve inflamed, and I simply had to stop. I believe that the universe only presents you with lessons in life which you are ready for, which you are strong enough to endure. In Rishikesh, I was hoping to find some guidance, but instead of getting recommendations for Ayurvedic doctors or some miracle healers, people kept telling me that I can only find healing within myself, which actually really annoyed me at that time. I should surrender to the healing power of the Ganga River and reconnect through this powerful female energy with my heart again, with my emotions. This is also the place where I first met brothers and sisters from the Rainbow family, which was literally a sign from the universe that my soul is longing for love, true love, unconditional and pure. How will this change my life, and what exactly is the Rainbow family? These lessons and many more were to unfold in the next coming months. But my heart started to act up again. I was afraid and wanted to get help as soon as possible. And instead of taking my time getting used to this beautiful spiritual land, I decided to begin my Ayurvedic treatment at Patanjali, which I planned from the very beginning, which was also what my crowdfunding campaign was all about.
Alright, here we are, Patanjali Hospital.
It was very intense and extensive there. The staff was very friendly and professional in what they offered. I could tell that they invested a lot of energy and money to keep this place very well groomed. I have learned very important lessons about pranayama, which are breathing exercises, and the mindset of yoga, which I could later on dive in more depth. On the other hand, I felt like they pumped every possible treatment into me, cleaned everything within me, pumped me full of Ayurvedic medicine, and after 7 days released me right back into the normal world. The place was too big, too many people. I had huge language barriers during the yoga and breathing classes, despite their previous assurance that I will be fine with just English. And this created a big frustration within me. I was thinking on a regular basis to stop the treatment earlier. I felt simply overwhelmed by everything I had to self-manage every single day. It almost stressed me more than I could feel a relaxation from it. Around the 6th day, I started to have strong palpitations again, and a feeling of desperation arose within me. Maybe all of these efforts to heal are useless. Maybe I'm just wasting my money here. Something just didn't feel right to me.
Good morning. It is 4 o'clock and it is my last day. So I'm really looking forward to get out of here.
When I was back in Germany, I got a book given by a friend of mine, which is about Tibetan heart medicine in the Ramshala, a traditional method where Tibetan doctors listen to your pulse through the touch of 3 fingers and could tell you according to their analysis how to get back into a natural state of balance within your body and your energies. I felt a strong urge to visit this clinic called Medicine Khan and decided to listen to my intuition. At Patanjali, they recommended me to extend my stay for another 10 days, but I was just fed up with it. Later in my yoga training, I also got to learn that 7 days of Ayurvedic treatment is pretty much useless, as it is a very slow process and takes a minimum of 1 month, plus another month coming out of the treatment and reintegrating back into daily life again. So I even questioned why they even offer 7-day treatment and promise big healing results or something. Well, I will never find out why. Maybe I will.
I'm on the way to my checkout. Goodbye, Patanjali.
The monsoon season just has started, and I've heard many warnings about landslides from friends who cared about me and expressed their concerns that it's dangerous to even drive there. This was another big lesson for me. The importance of listening to your intuition. It felt clear to me that I had to be there, and I am so happy that I did listen to that guiding voice instead of being clouded by fear. I felt another wave of hope throughout my entire being. The doctor who diagnosed me the first time was very kind and compassionate. He listened to me attentively, and I felt very much seen and understood.
Go through all this trouble to doctors and diagnose and feel lost somehow. Just don't know what to do. Just gives me new hope that maybe I will be cured. Maybe there is healing for me. I somehow lost my faith in medicine. Everything is just to make money for business. Just we hope that one day I'll be cured.
Something that I've been missing from many other doctors before. Previously, I got the impression that I'm just being a mechanical machine, which is broken and needs fixing. But here, even my emotional world got taken into consideration. They clearly don't care about making money there, as the medicine is very cheap and the consultation is for free. The post-diagnosis works with the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. Every element has its root poison, which is very important to identify.
So the doctor told me that I have an imbalance of my lung energy, which is basically air energy, and it's responsible for the heartbeat and also the mental strength. He mentioned that according to his diagnosis, it's the mental energy which is off balance with me as well. He said that my disease is curable, but it will take a longer time.
And gave me the right medicine for it, which I was supposed to take for the first 2 weeks and then come back for another consultation. A treatment like this takes at least 1 month to start to feel their effects, or even longer.
Hello, how are you? Very good, thank you.
So, I had to better get used to the Ramshala. I started to get to know the area of Upper Baksu. I felt a calling to stay there. People seem to live in a slightly different time zone there. I spent most of my time hanging out in cafes, connecting to other people, exploring, and opening my mind through daily deep talks with other people. Not a single day has passed where I didn't have a satisfying, deep conversation, where my worldview or perception of reality got questioned in one way or the other. I felt like my mind was expanding daily, and through another synchronistic connection with someone at an evening event at this place called Commune, a beautiful place with live music and the possibility to mingle with other like-minded souls. I got told about a certain yoga teacher training, which is based on Kundalini yoga. Something I was very interested for a very long time, but I hadn't had the chance to dive fully into it yet. This being told me about his experience and how intense the training was, during which he himself went to Menzikan, as many blockages were opening up and he had a lot of physical symptoms come up to the surface.
So we are not human beings, but we are these spiritual beings having a human experience.
My eyes lit up with excitement and my gut told me right away that this is exactly what I need. Little did I know that this would mark also one of the most challenging periods in my travels. I loved the fact that I was fully immersed in the spiritual work, learning about the history of yoga, the 8 limbs of yoga from Patanjali, anatomy, posture alignment, and many more teachings. I was thrilled by the fact that I was expanding every single day my understanding of these ancient Indian teachings and what lies behind of all those spiritual concepts, which are only scratched on the surface back home in Germany. I was literally living it, not just hearing about the experience.
We're all happy that the sun is out.
When it came to the last week of the course, where we activated the Kundalini energy through a series of exercises, focusing every day on another chakra, my body started to act up again. On the night right after my birthday, I had one of the most difficult experiences since coming to India.
It's 1:30 a.m. and my heart is just going crazy again.
I woke up in the middle of the night with very strong palpitations, and my heart was racing super fast. I always have some medication with me, which is on a natural basis called strophantine, and usually it helps me in times like this. But nothing was helping though, and I simply had to surrender to the fact that I have absolutely no control anymore. In this last week of the end of the course, I had almost every day strong palpitations and mild tachycardias. Sometimes very strong, sometimes a little less.
Ich weiß nicht, warum mein Herz ist macht.
But I felt like my body is just going totally out of control.
Aber das ist aufgehört.
Fear kept dominating my mind, and the possibility of a heart attack didn't seem too far away at those moments. Throughout this intense year of sudden heart problems, I made peace with the idea of dying and got comfortable with the concept that none of this is permanent.
Puls ist auch echt hoch.
That one particular night, I somehow said goodbye to this life and accepted that it might end at any moment. Whether or not this was an actual danger, I don't know, but it felt damn real.
I believed in love, and I didn't give in to fear. Instead,
The next morning, I visited a local heart specialist hospital.
here I am again in the hospital.
After checking my heart through ultrasound and reading my pacemaker, they gave me the same answer as in Germany. Physically, your heart looks fine. Pump function is to 100% as any other healthy heart. We have no idea why this is happening. We can't help you any further, apart from increasing the dosage of your medication. This was the turning point, where I didn't want to know anything about healing anymore. I just wanted to live. Live the remaining time which I have in this body to its fullest, and just experience how it is to be human. I started to smoke up again, and simply wanted to calm down my nervous system. Something that really helped me at that time not to lose my mind. I finished my yoga TTC.
I got my yoga certificate, I got my yoga certificate, I got my yoga certificate, I got my yoga, got my yoga certificate, I got my yoga certificate, got my yoga certificate, I got my yoga. Ow! I have my 200 hours of yoga certificate.
And continued doing the same things as I was doing before, but with a slightly different attitude. 2 weeks after, I went to a 10-day silent retreat, Introduction to Buddhism at Tushita. It helped me a lot to understand my mind a little bit better and put all my questions I had through many years of self-study and meditation into the right boxes. I learned more about karma, the inherent emptiness of yourself, and how the Buddhists see life in general. I felt a big craving in me for those teachings and confronted through our daily discussion groups my own point of perception about the reality I live in with the Buddhist teachings. Previously, I was playing for many years with the idea of becoming a monk and going to meditate somewhere in a cave in solitude. But somehow I came to the realization, though, that this might not be my path in this lifetime. Maybe my path is amongst the civilization. Maybe I'm here to bridge the spiritual world with the social world. One big topic stuck in my mind, and I found some answers in silence for myself. The difference between love and attachment. What is it? And how can we separate those two things? Well, in Buddhism there is a simple answer to that. Attachment is about wishing happiness for oneself. Love is about wishing happiness for the other person. Let that sink in for a moment. A simple answer with so much depth and truth within. When we manage to take ourselves out of the equation and focus on having the most positive effect with our actions for all sentient beings, then we can start detaching from the idea that we are the centerpiece in this world. Only then can we start feeling connected to every living being around us. Then we can feel how everything is intertwined with each other, and we come to the sacred union with the universe. Or more to say, into the awareness of it, because it's happening with or without us knowing it. Only then we can feel the energy within us, which is also outside of us. I started to form my own ideas of what love actually is for me, and how it differentiates from attachment. I dug deeper and deeper in my own understanding, with the openness that I might be wrong all along as well. After 1.5 months of intense healing, learning, and discipline, I just wanted to be. Nothing to learn, nowhere to get to. Simply just to be. This openness to embrace life as it appears in front of me led me to the most beautiful experiences.
Yeah, we're the first ones.
You did the base camp.
Himachal base camp.
We are between two temples, guys.
Yeah, we made it. Made it. Yeah, we made it.
Open, free, and pure love. I met this couple, Devi and Mahadev, who invited me into their relationship. Something I felt uncomfortable with at that time, but curiosity to explore more about my own limitations led me to jump in on this new adventure. How is it possible to share one person who you love with another person? A challenge which I wasn't confronted beforehand. And even if, then avoiding this topic seemed a bit more convenient rather than dealing with your own insecurities.
Feeling good.
Devi has a way about herself to see the best within someone and make them feel understood and seen. A true princess of compassion. More about that a little bit later. Slowly, my heart was opening up, and I could feel how stuck-up traumas were coming up to the surface. Whilst this relationship started more sexual, it formed with time to a trusting friendship, with the same love which brought us together, but then with time was expressed in a deep, heartfelt connection. This was very new to me, as I have only experienced this kind of love in a sexual and possessive way. These two beautiful beings were also the reason why I ended up at the World Rainbow Gathering in Nepal. It was an amazing time, full of joy, laughter, self-exploration, testing our boundaries and limitations. We met a beautiful family at Zendan and was spending time creatively hanging out and just enjoying life in its purest form. It was a true blessing for me to experience all this. I felt loved, I felt a community, I felt I have the people around me to deal with my own insecurities. with my own struggles in life.
Fly, little birdie, fly, little birdie.
It so happened that I needed to leave India for a visa run after 3 months, just when the world gathering had started. Full of excitement, I planned my journey to Nepal with another friend of mine. But couldn't leave the country because I overstayed my visa accidentally by 4 days. Oopsie. It took about 3 weeks until I got my exit permit. And what started as a big frustration
Kind of stuff called a punk. It's also leaf.
ended up as one of the biggest gifts I could have ever wished for.
I walked past the temple and they were like saying Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
You know, this is disgusting. I don't know what it is, but it looks like a rat shit here. I'll be coming out from here, and there's the lid from this thing because. I'm so fucking bored. And the exit permit is still not here. Help me!
I visited my dear brother Subodh, who I know from Baksu or Dharamshala. He showed me around Nainital. He's driving me around with his motorbike.
Hey, can you talk to the birds?
I even learned how to drive a bike myself there.
Alright, let's chalo. Esta subata.
And just enjoyed the beautiful time. Through a series of other many beautiful synchronicities, I met another dear brother of mine called Manas,
A fellow traveler, a seeker, I'd say. Are you a traveler? Yeah, a traveler.
Yeah, traveling in the journey of life.
who I am super grateful for bringing me to Kanchidam, a place where a very well-known guru was living back then called Neem Karoli Baba, up until 1974 when he left his body. Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, and many other celebrities had visited his ashram due to its very special energy. Initially I planned to stay in Kanchi only for 1 or 2 nights, but ended up there for almost 2 weeks. In that time, I really expanded my consciousness through all those deep conversations I had with Manas. I literally felt like having brain orgasms at times. As through our different nature of being, we could both meet on a mutual understanding of spirituality, but we're coming from totally different upbringings, cultures, and the way we both would handle our emotional worlds. Manas is a tech person with a very strong rational and logical mind who is into technology, AI, and how to create a more efficient life for himself. Whereas I'm more of a creative person who is into art, music, film, emotions, and likes to go with the flow of life. These polar opposites, plus the desire to really understand each other, enabled us to go really deep into our conversations and challenge each other's opinions about how we see the world. These 12 days were a true blessing for me, and I could connect many dots within my understanding of the truth.
One more, okay? So I take like this, make sure that it is holding properly, and then
which is supposed to be observed independently from personal opinions. The truth is the truth, and if we form an inquiry properly to understand it, then we can go deeper and deeper towards our own nature. I got confronted with the importance of communicating properly, step by step, without skipping any apparent obvious information. Just because something is obvious to you, due to the way you perceive reality, doesn't mean that it's the same case for the other person in front of you. If we talk about emotions, we first need to define what an emotion is for an individual. How do we individually feel, and how can we express it? We often have clashes in understanding each other, only because we assume that we have the same understanding of a certain subject. Meeting Manas absolutely taught me that people can have totally different ways of functioning. And if we take our time to properly explain ourselves with patience and compassion, then we can experience the beauty of expanding our minds through different perceptions. This encounter marked a chapter of internalizing my own truth and taught me to properly express what I feel from moment to moment, taking the time to explain myself fully for the other person to understand, and don't make any assumptions that we are already on the same page. We need to make sure that we get there together. When I eventually got my exit permit, I was very happy. But shortly after, sadness followed. I will really miss Manas, I thought at that time. He became more than just a friend to me. He became a brother who I will always keep in my heart with gratitude. My first thought was to get rid of that feeling and to rationalize it, with the understanding that I'm a traveler now and that I shouldn't get attached to any person along the way. My second thought was the realization how beautiful this feeling of sadness actually is. Only because I felt all this love and connection to another human being enabled me to feel this deep on the other side of the spectrum. I was suddenly able to feel it all through and give it time and space to be expressed within myself. I went for a little walk and stayed with it. What a beautiful melancholic feeling that was. I felt immensely grateful for having the opportunity to express all this. After some time, this feeling turned into a rather normal state of being, and I continued my meanderings for the day. I honored whatever was going through me in that moment, and realized that this was the first time in my life that I let sadness properly sink in. Wow, I thought to myself. I think I'm really making progress with my emotions here. When I was a boy, I was never allowed to cry or show sadness. My father wanted me to be strong, ruthless, and simply a tough man. He was never able to embrace his emotions either, and wanted me to protect from all this pain. Little did he know how much trauma he actually passed on to me. We give way too much importance to the pleasurable feelings and reject the uncomfortable ones. We want a quick fix for all of our problems, and this leads to a lot of stuck-up emotions within us, unresolved traumas and self-blaming, guilt, shame, self-hate, you name it. Eventually, when it becomes all too much for our bodies or minds to handle, this unresolved energy might get expressed in the form of diseases of all kinds, from mental to physical. They all have a root cause somewhere, and if not, then it might be something related to karma. But we still have to figure out what is it, what can we learn from this situation. In the end, these are all just feelings, and they are the reason why we experience life in this human form. They are neither good or bad, they just are. Let that sink in. They are neither good nor bad, they just are. For my last couple of days, we went together to Kasar Devi, which is a 2-hour drive away from Kanchida, and is located on the Van Allen Belt, one of the only 3 places on Earth, apart from Stonehenge in the UK and Machu Picchu in Peru, where the geomagnetic fields are so strong. I was very scared to go there, as I know that strong magnetic fields can influence my pacemaker, and I didn't know how my body would react, since I am 100% dependent on my pacemaker.
I love to see that. Get connected to the ground.
Yet, I didn't want to miss out the opportunity to visit a place with such an incredible cosmic energy, which attracted many spiritual seekers, artists, poets, and influential people. Sitting in the cab towards this temple, I instructed Manas that if anything happens to me up there, then I need to be removed away from the area for the pacemaker to work correctly again. We both downloaded an app on our phones to measure the magnetic fields, to be able to supervise if I am feeling dizzy coming closer to that area or not. In case of an emergency, I have also shared with him my phone unlock code and the number of my sister in Germany. I just didn't know how my heart would react in this environment, so I wanted to make sure that I take the right precautions. Walking up to this hill leading up to the temple, I felt tingly sensations in my fingers. I could feel that something was happening energetically within me, but wasn't sure whether or not this is a placebo effect and only my mind imagining things. Whatever it might be, I felt a sense of lightness and excitement. My thoughts became silent and I entered into a meditative state of presence. It was truly magical up there. Once again, I got a confirmation that I am allowed to live normally and that the pacemaker is nothing to be afraid of. It was such a big relief for me. The day after, I could finally continue my adventure. Destination Rainbow Gathering.
And now I am on my way to Banbasa and then to Nepal. Yeah! Butiban! Yeah! And I got my exit permit. Yeah!
I was sure that I won't meet any rainbow people on my way anymore. Because it would be the last 10 days of a 28 long day gathering, which is normally from new moon to new moon, so one moon cycle.
Got my stamp and now it goes to the border.
Surely, they are already all there doing their hippie thing. But, as the universe has its own way of working, meet the right people at the right time. Just when I finished my application for my visa on arrival at the Nepali immigration office and was on my way out, a rainbow sister named Terari straddled into the same office. After a short exchange of words, it was clear that we have the same destination and we decided to merge our brain powers. A quick vocabulary definition. People who go to rainbow gatherings like to call each other brothers and sisters, as we eventually all come to realize that we are one big family and we all share the same values of love, care and compassion. These lessons and many more are to become even more clear in the coming days and weeks. Nepalese people are generally very friendly and very polite, always saying please, thank you, and are very welcoming. The streets are also very dirty, but the mountains have a total different energy. To drive around the country is very rough though. Super bumpy roads, where it's very difficult to sleep or to relax in whilst you drive anywhere. A real adventure. After 2 days of traveling, we arrived at our last stops with Terari, where we had to take a jeep to continue for the last 5-hour passage to get to the rainbow gathering. We stopped over for the night to rest, get some energy, and continue the next day. The next morning, one of the shop owners on one of the streets offered us to give us a lift to Ramaroshan, where he was going to deliver groceries to a village just before the rainbow ground. Shortly after, 4 more rainbow siblings found their way to us, and together we had an amazing trip. Instantly, we felt there was a very special connection amongst each other. It was quite a challenge to get to Ramaroshan. The jeep was kind of drifting sometimes, and there was like hills and a super rough dirt road, and everyone was jumping like a basketball in the cabin. I was very scared at times when I looked to the left and saw this very steep hill going down. If we slipped off the road, that's it with us. This was a fear I had to learn how to handle. But then again, I have learned to quiet my scared mind and reassure myself that if I have the karma to experience an accident in this lifetime, then it will happen regardless of me worrying about it or not. All my past year experiences only emphasized that life will happen with or without my consent. When I was at the point where my heart almost stopped, the universe brought twice in 2 separate days an ambulance right in front of my face. And when I didn't listen to the signs, a woman appeared in front of me who literally told me, "How about you go and get checked by one of the doctors there?" At that point, it wasn't me anymore making that decision. The universe, or God, or however you want to call it, has a different plan for me, and I'm the one who can only observe the show if I want to. Reminding myself of all this enabled me to relax into the situation, and I just enjoyed an interesting, adventurous expedition. When we arrived at Ramaroshan, I leaped out of the car with a joyous dance. We made it! We made it! It was hard to grasp that about 700 people made exactly that difficult route. I praised the drivers of the jeeps. What an amazing job they did. So there I was, finally at the Rainbow Land. There's never such a thing as coincidence. Everything is a beautiful synchronicity expressed in the language of the universe. It's up to you to recognize the signs. And if you don't, it will still happen, but you missed the chance to be mesmerized by its magic. Rainbow gatherings always happen once a year in every country all around the world. And once a year there's one World Rainbow Gathering. If you're meant to be there, rainbow people will find you. And they will eventually get you there. The nature around the gathering was absolutely amazing. It was very hot during the day and the nights were freezing cold. A typical mountain weather at this time of the year, which I haven't experienced before in such an extreme. The arrival of our group in that jeep brought an incredible new energy to the very end of the gathering, where a lot of people felt like it's already the end. With fresh love, Princess Camp came to life. Something that has changed my life completely.
Rainbow family!
Rainbow family!
I love you myself! I love you all! Princess
At Princess Camp, we could all embrace our wonderful female side, pretending that we are all royal, whilst living a bohemian lifestyle in nature camping, having just us. Everyone could decide for themselves how they wanted to be seen by the others, and all of the other princesses supported them with all their love and celebrated their uniqueness of every individual. There was always somebody there making tea on the fire. We had constant cuddle puddles, massages and music, and everyone there felt a sense of pure and unconditional love, which I have never experienced like this before. I have found a family within a big rainbow family. My heart was filled with endless love, and for a while I even forgot that I ever had any heart problems. My health improved drastically during that time of the rainbow, and it became evidently that this is the kind of healing I needed. Whenever we become sick, our body is trying to tell us something many years before. But we are so occupied with our ambitions, needs and wants that the cravings overpower all the subtle sensations within us. We totally disconnect from our hearts and therefore forget to understand the language of love. I've been trying to fill that void within me through all kinds of career ambitions. My heart was craving for love, but my mind didn't know how to provide it. I came to the realization that my ego was never my enemy. It was simply programmed from a very young age in a way that it thought that materialistic success will provide happiness. But the ego is your friend, whose mission is to keep you alive in this materialistic world. So when you learn from a young age that certain things give you pain and suffering, the ego tries to give you less of that and craves for things that give you more pleasure and joy. I thought that I'm smarter than my ego, and I tried to kill it, creating a huge conflict within me, where I wasn't satisfied with either the materialistic nor with my ambitions of becoming something in this world. After the suicide of my father 7 years ago, all my desires to prove him that I will become someone important in this life also died with him. I couldn't care less anymore if I will become a famous actor or musician. All my attempts were there to validate his approval of me, to make me feel that I am worthy of love. But if I'm not this entertainer anymore, who am I? I was seeking for a purpose in life and couldn't find it. I became very lonely and tried to fill this hole with relationships where I could process my grief. Therapy helped for a little while, but only to cope with the symptoms. I wasn't able to ask the right questions, for I didn't understand myself what was actually happening within me.
Princess connection!
Going to the city.
The root problem was that my heart was closed off, and I had absolutely no idea how to open it again. When the pain becomes too much, our heart finds a way to still function in this world. You can try to open your heart through various methods, but if you are not strong enough to withhold everything that will come up, eventually it will close off again, or you might harm yourself even more. Having an open heart means making yourself vulnerable to a world which can be very cruel. And this might seem impossible without the right community around you. It seems so clear to me now that everything in my life leading up to this point was for me to experience what a different world could be like. I was shown a parallel universe within this universe contained in human form, where all that matters is love. We had no electricity, no showers, and no distraction from mind-numbing coping mechanisms we're normally all exposed to. We had ourselves, and we were connected to nature, and all of this was enough. It was more than just enough. It was all that I could have ever wished for. Everybody brought their own gifts to the community, and everyone did what they were doing best. No comparison of any sort. Everyone strived to live in harmony, and we could talk about problems when they arose. Of course, there were also conflicts, but the willingness to communicate with an open mind made all the difference. There is no leader, no police, and no control of any sort. You can be whoever you want to be, and you can do whatever you want to do, as long as you respect each other. You can initiate whatever idea you have, as long as you take charge of the idea. I felt like I had the support of a huge family, which enabled me to be the best version of myself, whilst showing my full vulnerability. A space where you can be as open as you want to be, and people care about your feelings. I felt seen, heard, and understood. All my needs were met, and I felt simply alive.
You look exactly like the dog.
How happy are you?
I felt alive as I've never felt before. This rainbow experience and the union of our princess camp enabled me to work through my biggest emotional traumas. Without all of those beings, I would never find the courage to go through life with an open heart again. Together we have traveled with a small princess camp group through Nepal.
Princess of compassion, fulfill us with love.
Bye, princess! Ooh, I love you! Princess camp! Woo! Princess camp! Princess camp! Princess camp!
I'm so grateful that I could have experienced that in my life again. After a quick stop over in Pokhara, I ended up eventually in Goa, Arambol.
Velagilita sangrada yanaye, yanaye. Velagilita sagrada yanaye, yanaye.
When I arrived in Arambol, I was really missing a sense of community there. It is very spread out, and I found it hard to find my tribe of people with a feeling I had at Princess Camp or in Baksu. Luckily, some of the princesses joined a little later for a short time as well, and a strong desire arose within me to bring this kind of magic to Goa.
Isn't that fabulous, princesses? That's all done for us. To enjoy our meal and beers.
Together we organized a conscious pool party with a full lineup of activities for people to channel their inner child, feel a sense of liberation and connect on a deeper level with each other. There was a no photo policy, so guests could feel as open and free as possible. To really feel and embrace and channel their inner child and play and have fun and be naked and just do whatever your heart desires in that moment. That nobody's watching you, nobody's judging you, that you are amazing the way you are. We also organized an event called Innocent Embrace, where you could explore through a series of exercises your bodily responses with others, how to set and not to cross boundaries, how to speak consent, with the aim to be able to feel safe and comfortable whilst being immersed in a big cuddle pod. Love has such a healing side, and if we manage to get back to its pure, innocent way, then we can collectively all heal together through one another. Integrate, educate, and celebrate. This is our mission statement for the Princess Camp events. And then there was a bonsai bean. After all my lessons of opening my heart, I met finally a girl who I felt absolutely seen and understood by. I could experience for the very first time in my life how a relationship could feel like if you meet each other on those values. Unconditional, free, and pure in its motivation. We were both healing each other just by being ourselves. Whatever I went through in that moment, it was okay just to be, and that was enough. Nothing more, nothing less. Just to be ourselves. I felt appreciated for who I am and could express all my silly, sassy, and serious self. I learned compassionate communication, where I was able to go into my deepest childhood traumas, which I even forgot were even there. I learned how important it is to choose the right words in order for the other person not to put up their defense mechanisms again. With her, I was crying my eyes out on a daily basis. I can't remember the last time I cried so much in my life. And I remembered the existence of this little child this little Edgar within me, who never ever wanted to even harm a little fly. I felt safe enough to open up a barrel, which would have caused panic otherwise. But most importantly, I learned how it feels when you connect purely from heart to heart with someone you love, without any judgment, without any pain-inflicting words, with pure understanding and willingness to understand, willingness to accept that you might maybe cause pain with the words you say, which you're not even aware of.
One very important lesson I have learned was from a brother of mine called Sahil. Thank you so much. Which was like a light bulb moment, which helped me to reflect on all my previous relationships and why there was so much disconnection and disharmony within it. So there's one big reason why men and women have so many misunderstandings, and it is an energetical reason. Men are naturally more connected with their head and the sacral chakra. So therefore we only know how to express our love through our sexuality, through our passion, through lust. We give this energy to women, and they in turn get traumatized by it because they feel used and manipulated. Women are longing for a more heart-centered connection, and therefore they feel frustrated and give this frustration back to us men. That closes off their hearts even more, because they are not able to express their emotions and to talk about what is really going on inside of them. Eventually we just keep hurting each other because we are unaware of how our energy is working. So what man needs to really do is to bring this energy from the head and from the sacral back into the center of their hearts, and therefore connect to a woman from heart to heart. So women can therefore support the man with creating a safe space where they can again tap into the heart, tap into their emotions, and be vulnerable again, and really connect to their hearts again, so that we can all connect from heart to heart. Men have been suppressing women for so many years, but therefore men have also suppressed their own female side. It is a vicious cycle which can only be broken by in-depth work, and especially with awareness of what our differences are. But the most important part is that we honor our differences and help each other to understand each other much better with open communication, with love, with compassion, to really guide each other on that way together. We cannot do all this trauma work by ourselves. We need one another.
Another strong urge within me arose that I will bring this reality and the awareness of it into the Western world. I experienced both sides, connected and disconnected from my heart. Life has given me a challenge because I was ready for it. If I wouldn't be strong enough, I would have died that very day when this journey has started. I was kept here amongst the living because I am still needed here. So I might as well do the best I can to heal myself and therefore heal the world. I'm sure if I can change my reality in my immediate proximity and see the change which I would like to see, then slowly, step by step, the whole world will change. It can be no other way, for I am the world and the world is me. Every person in my life has been a teacher for me, to guide me exactly on the path I'm on right now.
Coming back to my current reality, I'm again in the position where I would like to ask for some help. Going through all these treatments, and I don't know what I have to do, and I don't know how long this journey will actually take to find proper healing again. I'm trying to raise enough money so I can, at least for the next couple of years, only focus on healing, without having the stress in the back of my mind that I need to find a way to somehow make money. My heart condition doesn't allow me to work as everybody else. I cannot work a normal job as I used to. If my body needs rest, I need to rest. If I need to sleep, I need to sleep. If I feel a lot of stress, then my heart starts to act up again. I start to have really weird palpitations. My heartbeat becomes a little weird and arithmetic, and my awareness becomes foggy, and I simply can't function as everybody else. My mind is strong, but I cannot push my body anymore. It is a strange condition, which no doctor has so far found a reason for that, and no medical examination has found the root cause of my disease, or what is actually wrong with me, what is happening to my heart. I'm on a path where I need to find healing on an alternative way. Going through all those treatments is very expensive. I would like to try many more methods in Ayurveda, in alternative medicine. I would like to try to find spiritual healers who maybe can assist me on the path. But for all of this, I need money, and therefore I need your support. If any one of you resonates with my story and would like to support me on this journey, then I would truly appreciate any kind of donation you can do. You will find the link to my crowdfunding campaign in the description of the video. If you'd like to support me in any other way, please share, subscribe, or leave a comment so my story gets out there even more. Regardless of the outcome of this crowdfunding campaign, I will continue spreading my message and my lessons, which I have learned all along the way through my medical journey, through my journey of healing. If we can all reconnect back to our hearts and act from a place of kindness and compassion, then we can truly create a world where love is the main goal, where human connection and interaction is the sole purpose, the experience why we are all here, why this existence matters to us. I believe that we all have a responsibility towards ourselves, towards this precious life, which we have the opportunity to experience, to live up to the highest potential of ourselves, to be the best version of ourselves. If we all can connect a little bit more with our hearts, a little bit more and a little bit deeper the next time we interact with somebody else, and act from a place of compassion and from love, then there is no wrong decision, because our heart is the center of love. Our heart is truly the compass for what is right in this life. We can never act wrong if we act from our heart. We can only make mistakes and egotistical decisions when we act out of our heads. Our mind, which has been programmed for so many years in a way that we are clouded by fear, mistrust, jealousy. We are all just hurt children who never had the possibility to really properly process and grieve about all this pain that we have experienced in our lives before. Hate is also a form of love. You can only hate somebody who you have loved before. It comes from a place of being hurt. If you've been hurt before and you never felt properly understood by this person, and that this pain was actually allowed to be lived through also by yourself and processed properly, be with it, stay with it, then eventually it will come up in different areas. You will act up from a way not of your truth, not from your heart. It will come from a place of your mind, and the mind is a wonderful tool to solve riddles and Sudoku and create wonderful things, but it's just a tool. The true guidance comes from love, it comes from here. And the more we can connect for ourselves back into the center, the more we know what is right. The more we know that we do the right thing, because we will feel it. We have to all come back here again. And then we will see that the reality around us will change faster than we think. The change is already happening. We came to a point in this capitalistic society where There has been so much growth, so much improvement, so much technological improvement, but we as humans still feel somewhere unhappy and unsettled. So we come back to the original question of why are we all here? What are we doing here? We can experience this life beautifully in all its wonderful ways if we come together as humans again and appreciate each other, what it means to be human. It's damn difficult to be human, let's face it. There's so many emotions, there's so much going on within us. And there's no manual for that. There's no manual for the mind. There's no manual of how to get back to your heart. But there are ways and there are practices which can be done by all of us collectively to raise our vibration back up to this place of love. That's where we all came from. That's what we all know. We just need to remember again. Thank you so much for listening and so much for thank you so much. Just thank you.
Princess Camp TV, Episode 1.
Alright, little princesses. So, our preparations are in full running mode. And it's gonna be, wait for it, legendary. Follow me. This is the Princess Camp. Straight from Rainbow. Come. So this is my little pussy. We hang out all the time. Yeah, she agrees. Yeah. You're a good pussy. Alright. Next up, our glamorous stage. There we're gonna do oofts, oofts, oofts.
Show us your signature move.
And then express ourselves. Expressonia. And now, hold my glasses and my phone. We're gonna go to Chillus Maximus. Follow me. You go right. For Princess Camp, our philosophy is have fun, party, and just be glamorous. For this occasion, we provide maximum comfort in the water in this hot and sunny day. There will be much more games and toys here. And then after a whole day of party and being glamorous and fabulous and also very relaxed, you also need to have a little me time in Chillus Maximus. And this is how you do it. All day long. Amazing. Come to Princess Camp Party tomorrow.
All day.
All day.
Fun and games.
With many games. With lots of love. And so much beauty and glamour.